Roll them.
Just a second, I could texting my son.
Roll that beautiful footage.
Roll that
beautiful bean footage.
Yeah. Anyway, hi guys.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good. I'm glad to be sitting at the table with you guys. Lots to talk about. There are some things that kind of pop up in my feed, which strike a chord with me. So one, I was scrolling through my thing, and one of the Facebook feeds that I follow, one of the Facebook accounts, is the WCIL scanner. It's how I get all my juice, right? All my tea.
Ooh, he is giving you the look.
No, it's
Really?
not how I get my news. It's how I
Really?
get my
Really?
controversial stuff. Like,
Okay.
obviously,
Nice save. Okay.
no, obviously I look to Muddy River News for all of my official
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
stuff.
official,
But when you're scrolling through, and hey, listen, you know, there have been times where I'm like, did you see this? WCIL they get the scoop.
But sometimes
Because
they
you
get a post.
My God, if you throw enough shit on the wall, it sticks. Blind squirrel finds a nut. Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
you get but the person that's doing that gets to post without any kind of
No
journalistic
repercussions or nothing.
Attribution.
Yes. But
Yeah.
like fights in progress.
But it
and then
do-
like maybe a fight didn't even happen.
Okay, so I'm not saying that it's always, a source that you can rely on. It is a source that I am like, ooh.
No, they
this is
they can
fun.
definitely have the pulse on
The pulse.
scanner stuff.
Yes,
It's a
they
scanner
do.
page.
Yeah,
So yeah,
'Cause it's
sure.
the
So it is a pulse.
scanner.
So I got this. I was scrolling through and I saw this thing that said, Pike County Prison Yard gets something dropped from a drone into their prison yard. Which, number one, duh. Wouldn't you? I mean, do they have access to phones and internet and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Because
You
Amazon
actually-
delivers anywhere.
I think a lot of people that are in prison actually have like phone
Phones and
service,
stuff.
and not necessarily a phone. Like you get the service, like you pay for so many text messages, so much internet time.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how they acquire the phones, but I know like there's communication
Sure.
that is basically essentially paid for.
Okay. By us?
No, the
So it's
person
like a
themselves-
commissary.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's like
Yeah.
a commissary.
Exactly.
So no
Can you-
longer
can
is
you wanna-
ramen the
or
main
cigarettes.
or the main commissary. Now it's like, oh, we can get a
Internet
drone.
access.
So I'm thinking like, can they drop shivs?
Well, I know they could drop paraphernalia because Amazon sells that. So
That's what I'm thinking. So what a weird world we're living in now, where you can be in prison and potentially order something that can be used as weaponry.
I would think that the prison would have some sort of safeguard.
like
Well,
if the scanner
yeah,
They
saw
have to
it-
be monitoring
Yeah.
what these guys are on.
It
I don't
said-
think they're letting them get on Pornhub, is what I'm saying.
Well, I don't know.
But
I've
if the
never been
scanner
to prison.
caught it, I
but
mean,
if the scanner
any
says,
kind of package gets dropped, I think that's going to be commandeered because
it's going to be confiscated, but it just
Yes.
creates this new weird challenge for,
prison guards.
yeah, I mean, school year. I mean, you could just order something and have it dropped in no time flat. That's weird.
Probably not. Probably not.
No?
Because there's geospatial areas that you can't go in certain areas.
Yeah.
As far as it getting dropped, if there was a drone that had been hacked, and so that was taken out of it, they could fly it over you can fly up to 400 foot with a drone.
Okay.
You could drop, a shiv from
Yeah.
400 foot. Nobody's going to see it coming down from 400 foot till it gets to the ground.
Right. But it does create that challenge, right? So, like, these prison guards have to be on the lookout and shoot down these drones, even if they're not legit. They don't have to be legit drones.
No, not
Yeah.
at all.
Well,
No.
legit
And
drones, like-
Amazon's not going to fly a drone over.
Amazon's not. You're not, because you get these clearances, right? So my company that I work for, we can't do drones because we're within so many feet of the airport. But there are non-legit drones that, let's say, Bobby calls me from jail one day and says, "Hey, Ashley, can you send me a shivved off toothbrush?"
I have
I'm like,
a feeling
"Yep, coming at you,
he's
boss."
asking for Glenlivet.
Like Johnny Walker Blue.
Well, my hands are lethal weapons, so I don't need a shiv.
Thunder and lightning. Yeah, that's what we call them. Love it. Anyway, yeah.
It's registered with the state.
Yeah.
Madness. This is sheer madness.
It is.
We're talking about March Madness coming up. We're going to have a great guest. I think he's pretty...
Pins and needles
I was
right
gonna
now.
say privy. I was gonna say pretty shivvy to this.
He's versed in. He's
sweating right
his,
now.
His sports
As
for
we
sure.
prepare as his beloved Duke Blue Devils are on.
But
so,
before that, I want to
before
talk
that,
a little bit about the madness that
Good
happened
seg.
at Quincy City Council this
Yes.
last Monday.
Yeah.
And when I say madness, it wasn't really necessarily madness, but
But they were calling it a crisis, so let's
Who
go ahead
called
and
it a
build on
crisis?
it.
we're calling. So currently, right now,
the
at
housing
Quincy
crisis.
City Council, we're
Yes.
talking about zoning changes to adhere to our housing crisis. And on Coffee Talk, I know I said housing crisis like this.
air quotes.
Yeah, because
Well, I say crisis is a really big word. It's almost like it's losing its zhuzh. Like when
Well-
you say crisis so much, it loses its power. It's kind of like trauma.
Also, when you say the word crisis and act like there's nothing there, and then a well-known apartment rental comes out and says,
Wait a
hey,
minute.
wait, we have...
Got plenty.
15 units.
So,
Got plenty.
A&B Properties, after the Quincy City Council meeting proposed that, they said housing crisis, we need rentals or housing in the
Multifamily.
$800 to $900 range. A&B Properties came back and said, hey, we have 15 available. Not only did A&B Properties say that, but our very great landlord himself confirmed that he has rentals as well. So
In that
Mark's,
same range?
Yeah, Mark's Properties as well.
They do residential?
Huh?
Mark's does residential?
Or Tory himself.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
exactly sure, but I know that they've said like they have some things as
Case
well.
in point, though, they do
Case in
have-
point, the things, the debate there, I feel like that closes the debate on there is like the end period. There's not a crisis if there are 15 available. Why are these not being rented?
Yeah.
But I think the survey said, I don't know exactly how many were needed, but it's a lot.
Okay.
And it makes me wonder, what is it that we're actually trying to attract or do?
Sure. I think that's a good
A lot of these
question.
things have been called into question because, again, if you're going to call something a crisis and then yet we just said, hey, I feel like a lot of this is propaganda for a new tax, a new incentive where it may not be a new tax, but a redistribution of money for some kind of, rental rehabilitation, redistribution of money where we help contractors in developing things, anything where we can give people our Quincyan tax-paying money for a private
development.
Yeah.
So, and this is kind of, we talked about it on Coffee Talk a little bit, so watch if you will, but please know that when we're talking about this, it's generally we bring up something from the city council, and Brittany and I sit down and kind of talk about it in terms of our perception of it, not necessarily fact, but we want to kind of talk about things, not to give you facts, but to kind of get you thinking about things.
It's literally a segment where we have worked here forever, and Bob finally was like, all right, you ladies can talk about your perspective on
Yeah,
this.
for sure. Well, and it's not just perspective. It's like we want to open the minds of everybody. So if you think that public-private developments are a good idea, we want you to know that this is being talked about in city council. Not necessarily to sway you in one way or another, but we definitely have opinions on things. So we
Yeah.
talk about it. One of the things that we've talked about since I think day one, and you can go back and listen if you wish, growing Quincy, everybody thinks population growth is like the way that we don't die as a community, right? From day one, I think we've all said growth may not be the number one criteria or the number one metric for proving that Quincy is good in so many words, right? So just because you're growing as a community as far as population doesn't mean you're doing well.
But we're not.
Plus, we're not.
That's the thing. So for the last
haven't.
100 years, we have been at about the same population. So I guess what is this
Gradually declining.
What is this obsession with wanting more people to come here instead of worrying about, the growth? I feel like they need to worry about
The type of
the
growth?
people leaving,
If,
like you
if
were
we're
just
so
saying.
if we're so hung up on hitting 50,000, then just annex the tri-townships and you'll have your 50,000.
I guess,
But I think it's
that's
like
for what?
But I think it's more
Say,
than
ooh, we have 50,000 people.
it's more than that.
You become a metropolitan area, not a micropolitan area, too.
Is
I
there
don't-
some state thing that says 50,000 is a cutoff?
You
point or
could,
something?
yeah, you can get a little more juice out of that, I think, on some federal and state funding opportunities.
But at what point do we start saying,
No.
do we just want to grow or do we want to grow the right way? Because in my mind, and I'm not a analyst in growth or population or dollars or anything, but in my mind, we want to grow the tax base, right? So when you're looking at multifamily homes, and I'm not saying that what they're talking about is Section 8. We talked about this, right? I'm not saying that what they're trying to do is grow our Section 8 population, but it does kind of seem like if you're taking public and private partnerships to accomplish these developments, it does seem like we're not really focused on tax-based growth.
No.
We're focusing on building these things to acquire people, and not necessarily the right people, not
Exactly.
necessarily for the right
But also, if you
reasons.
build these things where
They
there's
will come.
current, but also if you build these things where there's current just vacant land, the value of that property goes up, and the city and county get more money from tax revenue, from property tax revenue, because that
Provided-
increases.
Okay, but then they
Provided
also,
they're not Section 8, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Because they very well could turn into Section 8. Because
Sure.
if you're looking for this $800 to $900 range, and you've said to us that it's not sustainable for a developer to make money off of it, then the said developer is going to have to probably
Yeah.
use
They're
Section
not gonna
8.
take a loss.
So you're not contributing to the tax society.
The
Also,
property, no, the property tax, the owner of the property is going to have to pay property taxes regardless of if it's Section 8
I'm
housing.
not so worried about that.
That
I'm
doesn't
worried
mean they get a
about-
tax break of property taxes. I don't believe. They would get other breaks and they would get federal subsidies, but I think they still got to pony up for the property taxes.
Yeah.
But so property taxes are one thing, and I'm not so much concerned with property taxes as much as I am what are we building to increase the economic development of
or the
Quincy?
culture of Quincy. If you are diluting the culture of Quincy with adhering to poverty, and I feel like you can be compassionate about poor people. Like I utilize services myself back when I was a single mother, back when I had nothing and this is what I needed. So like I have compassion for that. I see and I can hear
You
that.
have empathy because
Yeah.
you've been there.
But I don't see, like, it doesn't have to necessarily go hand in hand with compassion and empathy and then saying, I want to see my community adhere to that type of lifestyle.
Right.
Like, when I say the culture of Quincy being diluted, we are who we are right now. And I think if you invite more and more people to I guess, I'm not sure how to like.
No, I get what you're saying.
But then you're diluting the population. If people in Chicago are realizing that the rent in Quincy is lower and that our welfare line here is it's shorter here than it is in Chicago, why wouldn't they come here and take those properties? I don't think we're building these properties for people that are already here because they're already here. And I think focusing on the people that are already here needs to happen.
I think you have to, I said this before, I think as Quincy, as a community, we have to decide who we want to be. Right now, we want to be everything to all people. We want to have all the resources. We want to have sports complex. We want to have, we want to help this person. We want to help this. Obviously, we want to do all of this stuff. We don't have the pocketbook for it, nor do we have the resources, okay? So when I'm talking about growing Quincy, I'm talking about tourists, right? Bring your money, drop it, leave. Because we may not have the infrastructure. I know that sounds shitty, but it is what it is.
That was the original plan, wasn't it?
But
like,
that's why we did
isn't
the
that-
50 by 30.
It's like we're doing
or
so
whatever
many
the hell it
different
is.
things. Yeah, no, it's like we're paying Quincyans or people to like come here and live, but then we're also focusing on tourism. I feel like we're focusing on everything but the Quincyans that are here. And if my property taxes are the same property taxes as a suburban, community in St. Louis area where all the amenities happen, garage or garbage service, recycling service, curbside service, why am I staying here? The answer is family. And if families are getting older and dying off, that's what's going to kill Quincy. It's not the growth of
People
Quincy.
leaving.
People are going to be leaving Quincy
So then,
to find something.
Not only do we need to focus on how do we make Quincyans happier, which I think we're doing an okay job of right now. We could probably always improve, obviously, but I don't necessarily think that. I guess I just need to see the numbers again. I'm so into. We want to call everything a crisis. We want to call everything trauma. We want to call everything like this big name, right? To bring attention to it, to bring this like hoopla. What does the housing actually look like? And give me some really rock solid numbers.
So, speaking of what the housing would look like, you're going to the Plan Commission meeting on Tuesday night. So where they want to put the storage units.
Yeah.
Which probably is not going to fly. So if those storage units don't fly, what kind of housing would you accept on that property that is in your neighborhood?
Well, I think it's residential because it was zoned that way. Now, do I understand that our zoning Bible is outdated? Yeah, but when you're talking about minor changes, we're talking about language. We don't need to talk about haberdasheries, but we can change those the verbiage. But you don't necessarily, in my mind, get to come to a neighborhood that people bought and paid giant property taxes because they invested in this land and invested in these homes to come and say, you know what, we're going to build this non-personal thing in the middle of your community that some people pay HOA fees.
But I'm saying, what if it was something else? What if it was like the apartment complex at 24th and Harrison?
Just said it's a residential one single lot. Like it shouldn't go there.
Single family
You're saying
home.
okay, so you're saying she's already said residential.
So residential in my mind is
residential is not
a
apartments.
single family home. Now, I'm not saying that I'm against like duplexes, triplexes. I'm totally for duplexes, triplexes. If you're talking about
a 300 apartment,
well,
tall
even
story.
a 15 apartment complex that's eventually, let's be honest, probably going to be income controlled. I don't know that I want that in my backyard, and I'm not saying NIMBY because I'm like stuck up or I don't. Again, like you said, I don't care about the impoverished. I think that it's okay to realize that we don't have to accept these complexes that adhere to or are built for the attraction of people who aren't going to contribute to our community.
NIMBY,
does that make sense?
Yes. And
Like
NIMBY is a word that I feel like is being now thrown around is like
Because
a...
Bobby said
It's
it.
been that way for,
No, but now it's
been that
being
way forever.
thrown around as a derogatory thing, and I
kinda
think
is.
NIMBY is proof that a lot of Quincyans
think
don't
two
want
things
this. We are told that we have to grow or else, and that's propaganda. We don't. Like the NIMBY thing, that is the very proof that Quincyans don't want this.
Yeah.
And then the other thing when we were talking about crisis, if you want to talk about a crisis, we are in a financial crisis due to the next 20 years worth of promised pensions. But yet, we're trying
Not
to
only pensions. I'm
deal
talking
out money
about-
and spend. If you ask any financial advisor what you do when you're in a financial crisis, it's stop all excessive spending.
Okay, so not just our pensions, because I think people look at pensions like we can't do anything about it, but let's talk about schools. Our class sizes are overcrowded, okay? When you build these giant complexes, and I just want to get real for a second, you're going to attract people because, as you said,
Yeah,
our lines
it's
for
cheaper.
our pantries are
Our
less,
food pantries
right?
are full. Our welfare
So
lines
then you
are
have
cheap.
people coming in.
Or
Then they're overcrowding
short.
our schools even more, our infrastructure, our things. So I just want someone who has a logical outlook on this to say, if we're going to do a public and private partnership, can we just do it in a way that is kind of set forth to increase our economic development and not put a drain on it? That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying that the impoverished put a drain on it, but sometimes it does, and that's just me being factual, right?
Yeah, well, when you're inviting more to the table, too. It's like what I already said. We have impoverished people in Quincy here. Let's take care of them, you know. But
I always say if you have more than you need, build a longer table, not a higher fence. We don't have more than we need. We don't have enough, so we can't be all things to all people. And as much as I want to help everybody all the time, I just don't think we have the resources. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the schools. We don't have the people. I mean, our school district is having these meetings to try to like figure
Retain
things out,
teachers
right?
for-
So then it's like, how do we, if we're in this crisis, which I think is probably a real crisis.
Yes, I agree.
Then are we going to build these things to attract more people that we can't sustain, that we can't support, that we don't have the resources for? And obviously, I wish we had all the money in the world to help all these people, because I would build Section 8 and help everybody all the time, right? But no doubt, you can look at the facts, it lowers the safety of your community, your infrastructure goes downhill, you don't have the resources to feed even your people or house even your people, now you're going to bring other people in. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
No, it
so
doesn't.
this is why I always go back to, as Quincy, who do we want to be as a community? And who do we focus on first? And you and Mike and we've always said, and I don't want to like pigeonhole, but we should support Quincyans first. And if
Quincy
we
first.
can't do that, we should probably table everything else.
Yeah.
Now, the sports complex, which people like to lump into this, is, in my mind, a little different because it has the potential to bring money, right?
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't bring, it's going to bring revenue to the community. It's going to
Yeah.
help fill the restaurants and bars
Sure.
and hotels.
People come and they
Tax
go.
People come and they leave.
It's a tax base.
and that's-
I think that's
not
what we
putting a
need.
drain on
Yeah.
your economical system.
Well, I
Now-
mean, again, I think it just depends on, when you talk about a drain, it's like, we have a shortage of lawyers in this community.
Yeah, we do.
We'd like to have more lawyers.
Preaching to the choir.
We have a shortage of doctors, from what I understand, in this community. So to bring people like that
We have a shortage of
that's what, and
teachers.
shortage of teachers in this community. So those are the kind of people you want to bring in. So we're fine with population growth of that nature. But you're right. I don't want somebody from Chicago
Who hears about Quincy and they're like, you know what?
Wow.
I've heard they have
their food
these-
lines are short, and I can get a
Yep.
cheap apartment and blah blah blah, and I can do this and that.
And like
I
you
get
can
that.
call us bigots and whatever all you want. This is real talk, and like I am gonna real talk this because this is really my community and I really care about it. I want to see, my family stay here. I want my daughter to stay here, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make anyone stay here if all we do is put other people before the actual Quincyans.
Well, and not just that, it's like the safety of things. It's the, ability to actually support your community before welcome. Yeah. I mean, it's
So there's a lot more with this zoning issue that we're going to learn a lot more. We're going to cover it as we go. I know Paul Havermail reached out to me, and we have scheduled him for a News This Week with Bob Goff. Tune into that. We're going to find somebody possibly with an opposing view to join him as well on a separate one. We want to hear both sides of the story. We want
But
everyone's...
I do want to say, so Paul is veterans. What's his
He's
deal?
the administrator for the Veterans Commission in
Okay.
Adams
But he's doing
County.
something with the city, right?
And he's related to you, like everybody else is in town.
But
Yeah,
what is he
100%.
doing with the city? Because he was the
He's the co-chair of the Housing Task Force, along with Alder.
So the task
Carol
force-
Eamon.
the task force.
So, but like with veterans, okay, do I want veterans to have homes? 100%. Do I think that it's asinine that our veterans are on the streets? 100%. Do I think it's asinine that kids are on the street? I think there's got to be a better way to do this, but I don't have all the answers. I just think that if we don't have, I just don't think we have the means to do this.
If we don't
And
have the means to be sustainable for ourselves, then why are we?
So before we
extending
go
the hand?
into like being the problem solvers for all people of all things and all, every walk of life, we probably need to figure out pensions. I know that that's a state thing, but it goes back to like
Well,
emancipating.
depending on, city and county city pensions are handled by the city, and they have to put that money in. Teacher pensions, it's a state fund, but there are still issues there, and they are guaranteed by the Constitution of the state of Illinois.
Do these people ever talk so all the meetings that are happening with the public schools, and they're like, oh, we're in a financial crisis, we're in a housing crisis. Well, what is the biggest bucket? Is it the kids of our community?
I'm wondering if
is it the
these two are
housing? Do they
communicating.
talk?
Well,
Do they work
again, we're having
together?
these meetings, the school district's having these meetings, and it's like, well, that's great, you can listen, but, we elect a school board for a reason, and a school board hires a superintendent for a reason, and of course, we haven't hired a superintendent yet. So I would want my elected school board and my professional superintendent to be the ones to figure this out. To have all these meetings, to sit around and listen to people and sing Kumbaya is great, but we elect you, and we're going to pay a superintendent $230,000 to make
job.
decisions. So how about you guys just make the damn decisions and quit trying to pawn it off on the public, because that's ridiculous.
quit
And you
doing
also
the lip
know,
service.
but you also know that your teachers are underpaid, and you know you can't hire teachers. Like, oh, I can't hire teachers. You can't hire teachers because they're underpaid, and because they go to other districts to get paid more money.
we can't
they
afford
go to,
it.
They go to Payson and Camp Point and make more money.
So we can't afford
So
it.
you can give me all your Luda crap and about, oh, we're this, and that. And I know the whole reason we're having all these meetings is to try to pump up everybody for a referendum, which is never going to pass, because the Quincy Public School Board and School District have a real issue with transparency on many fronts, and it's never going to pass because they can't figure it out. So I would suggest a different tack, and maybe be open and honest and talk to people and tell people what your real problems are, and admit what your problems are. We don't pay our teachers enough.
But
and
also,
Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Goff.
Yes, my wife's a
right?
teacher.
Hell yeah.
This just in.
I like to see that. I like to see the fire. I think that we needed more of that, because I think in any business, which Quincy is a business, right? We have to have revenue. We have to be able to pay people. We have to be able to bring money in. There are always buckets. What are your 3 big buckets, right? Well, has anybody ever talked about those buckets? What are our 3 biggest opportunities / problems? Talk about those. Bring in opportunities, tasks to kind of combat those problems. Right now, we're like, you know what? This looks good right now. You know what? This looks good right now. You know what? This person said this is a problem right now. There's just no cohesive,
Quincy's leadership has always had a problem with looking at the getting distracted, like squirrel, shiny object,
Shiny.
riverfront, sports complex, without being able to focus on one thing. I'm not saying you can't multitask, because multitasking
You
is a
should
good
be
thing.
able to multitask,
but
but you have to-
The problem is they can't.
But you have to line out the buckets. Like, what are our 3 big rocks right now? And then once you solve those rocks, you move to the pebbles, right? And right now we're like pebble, rock, blah, 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 blah. And nobody knows whether we're coming or going. We just keep raising taxes and moving people out and moving people in. It's like, well, okay, guys, I understand that subsidizing things can be a good thing. Only if you are growing in a way that everyone has agreed on. And no one has agreed on anything right now. We're all just kind of like grasping at things like, oh, we need to grow as a population. Do we? Oh, we need to grow as an economic tax base. Do we? Oh, we need to, nobody's really, I want to see a giant mission for the city of Quincy. Then I want to see tasks associated with accomplishing that mission.
Can we just make the mission Quincy first? Quincy first.
Yeah. I mean, we have been here since day one. We have paid these taxes. We have done these things. We send our kids to these schools. We can't figure out if we're coming or going. We have to go to meetings here. We have to go to the city council meeting here. We don't.
You got to pay attention to the special small signs on the road. Otherwise,
there's so many
you don't know what's
things.
going on.
Listen, I know Mayor Linda Moore is doing her best, getting everybody together.
Agreed, but she also has, and I'm sorry if she's got a really big heart.
Huge.
And sometimes a big heart might not be the best thing.
I think she's also got some badass in her.
I think so too. I think so too. But the adhering to the poverty or needing or attracting poverty for
if the housing
the
crisis
goodness
is real,
is not okay.
if it's real,
Then why are there 15 apartments still available?
That's what I was going to say.
Okay. Well,
Perhaps they should advertise that those apartments are available on Muddy River News, and they might fill them.
Well, listen, they've been great advertisers in the past, and if they need that help, we'll help them in the future. This is all madness, guys.
Okay, can I say one more thing about madness?
I guess.
Okay, and
madness.
I don't want to dig on this group, but Festival of Lights, which I've always been a super supporter of, their lights are still up at Upper Mormon Park.
Is Santa Claus's house still in Washington Park?
No, but the trees and the ornaments and the
I'm just
things.
asking.
Yes, but stop.
Oh. Listen, I think...
Maybe that should all be moved.
Well, I think... Okay.
It's late March.
It's
spring.
time.
It's spring.
Listen,
you guys, it happens every year in April. We're Quincyans.
It happens every year because the ground's too soft in the park and we don't want to tear the
here's
park
what I
up.
think.
We're waiting.
God
Okay,
damn
here's
it.
what I think. If you were a part of an HOA, what would your HOA tell you about those Christmas decorations? And you should adhere to those rules, right? After February, shame on you. March, listen,
And here
guys,
we are, March Madness.
when you're in a March Madness and you still have ornaments decorating the entrance of Upper Mormon Park, we got a freaking issue here, guys. I want to go and walk that park. I want to go walk it without seeing Christmas decorations because I think I've
Because you're
learned that.
sensitive, you can't walk without you can't block
I don't
it
think
out.
you're allowed
Just
in there right
not
now.
joyous.
Oh man!
Listen,
Wow!
I am doing it all year long. I just
Just
think it's
walk
crap.
and block that shit out. Good
Can you
God.
walk? Because 9 times out of 10 they have the thing blocked.
Yeah, it's
because they
blocked
don't
right
want
now.
people to
It's
steal
blocked
their
because they don't want them
decorations.
so you can't
okay.
access that
So
part.
that's
Well,
my thing.
that is crappy
now
then.
we pay taxes.
Well, they don't actually. They generally don't open up the parks for walking until spring anyway.
Well, guess
first day
what
of spring.
today is?
Better be
Spring!
gone. And I'm talking like today.
And it's also basketball season. And our guest is waiting in the wings, and he is sweating his
Such a cool guy.
tuchus off because his Duke Blue Devils are in a real battle right
With
now.
what's the team? What's the other team?
Duke.
Siena.
Oh,
Duke v.
That's
Siena.
who I have. I have Sienna.
Siena. Siena's
right.
pulled off some upsets back in the day. But yes, we have a rather
What
dreamy
a
guest coming our way.
Fantastic guy, dude.
So
you guys,
dreamy.
Yeah. If anybody hates him, find me later. I'll fight you.
We'll be right back.
What have you been missing on Muddy River Gems? You won't believe your eyes. My crew and I have been bringing you stories for more than 20 years on PBS and now Muddy River News. And we're just getting started.
Over time, if a case goes unsolved, the victim and the family don't get justice. And it's important that not only we get justice for the victim and the family, but that the perpetrator involved in the incident is held responsible.
Ooh, I like
Actually,
it.
a good
lot of
idea.
good
I like that.
But yeah, see, we're
Look at this.
We're cooking with gas.
The ideas
we
are
are.
flowing. We are cooking. You just stop cooking. I think that's what the kids say.
Just cooking?
You're cooking.
Not with gas.
No, cooking.
Okay. Well, we have a very special guest who's going to be a little distracted because as we are recording this, his beloved Duke Blue Devils are playing in the NCAA tournament and they ain't winning right now.
Yeah.
Tyler Tomlinson.
They are not winning.
TT, hey.
That's okay.
You know what? But are they? I can't see that far.
I'm an
down
eternal
4.
I'm an
All right.
eternal pessimist when it comes to sports.
Same.
Does it help you?
It helps me cope, yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of a deflection than
Sure.
it is an acceptance.
And you are very much like I am with the emotional risk management of betting against my team. So when my team blows, then I will at least get some benefit out of it.
Yeah, you can't beat life joy. And so when Duke wins the tournament, that's life joy.
Yes.
If I don't bet on, if you don't want the double dip of like, oh, I put all my money on Duke and they're my favorite team
Yeah.
and they lost, then you're like, horribly crushed.
You got to
in all
diversify
ways.
monetarily and
So I
emotionally.
never everyone's like, oh, well, you picked Duke to win the whole thing. I'm like, I never do.
No.
I never do.
That's like
because
a bad. That's bad juju.
It's bad juju.
Yeah.
I don't want that juju.
Yeah.
So,
Well, welcome, Tyler Tomlinson.
happy to be here.
I've never sat at this table with you.
Long-time listener, first time on it.
Really?
Well, Frankie stole him the first time.
Oh.
Yeah, true. I did a
Damn it,
Frankie,
Frankie.
but his
Got
doesn't count.
He got to do the minor league
right.
one first.
All right.
So that's good.
We got to practice first. Now
Yeah,
you're on the
work
real
it up.
deal.
You're-
No, I'm
yeah,
kidding.
not in double A
Frankie's
anymore.
great.
How did you become a Duke Blue Devil fan? Just because you were a Quincy Blue Devil? Was that the only reason?
But it wasn't my fault or choosing. I have a lot of pictures of my youth, and I'm just caked in Duke stuff. My parents didn't understand. They were from Canton, right? Back in those days, Hy-Vee didn't sell, Blue Devil
Gear.
shirts. You couldn't go to
Yeah.
Tri-City
No.
Sports and get a blue. If
Nice
they,
family
if they
plug there,
saw,
by the way. That's
thank you. If they see
Tom, you owe money.
a Blue Devil shirt, they just bought it and put it on me.
So maybe they didn't.
Quincy.
For
No.
Quincy, but it never said Quincy.
Yeah.
okay.
Maybe they didn't know.
All
So
my clothes were Duke Blue Devil clothes. I didn't know any better.
just
So
convenience.
osmosis.
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
I like
just
it.
thought I was supposed to. I didn't
Very
know there were
cool.
options.
That's a good way to kind of ease into a sports team,
So
though.
how
Very
does a
cool.
Blue Devil fan, say like an Eric Stratman, then become a Tar Heel fan? How's that work, you think? Besides
Oh.
Stratman just
He
being
liked
little.
the colors.
yeah.
That's how I was a Tar Heel fan.
Yeah. So
Really? You like Carolina Blue?
I like the blue and the blue. The light blue and the
when
navy
I
blue.
see someone and they're typically like sloppily dressed and they haven't shaved in a couple days and they have Crocs and they're wearing Tar Heel blue, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That's
That
a Tar Heel
tracks.
fan.
Yeah.
Oh, usually they've got a Jayhawk hat on when I see them. So.
Mine
Yeah.
was-
You see the same. You see the same. guy.
Mine was back in the starter jacket days.
Oh, I had a
Everybody
start.
everybody picked the starter jacket primarily based on colors. Come on, you had the Hornets, you had the
Number one most popular starter jacket was
100%
Hornets.
Was the Charlotte
all the
Hornets.
Raiders.
And it's back again.
Raiders because
it's
of
all
the
coming back.
gang stuff. Yeah.
Mine was the Tar
Zubaz, are
Heels because
those
I
back?
like the
You
colors.
had the Tar Heel starter jacket.
I couldn't tell you a player, a stat, nothing. I just like
I'm
colors.
at the University of Missouri, and for Christmas one year, my mother gets me a Notre Dame starter jacket. Why? Because we're Catholic. I thought you'd like it.
Yeah.
Well, it was a good-looking jacket. I like it.
Did you wear it?
I did. I'm not a Notre Dame hater. I
Okay.
mean, being Catholic, yeah, Notre Dame's fine. That's great.
But not a lot of people had the Notre Dame Irish
No.
starter jacket. That would have been a good one.
It was sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wore it around campus. I was fine with it. I mean, she knew better not to get me again, Kansas one. I always, in my bracket, always pick Kansas to lose the first game
tradition.
every year. It's tradition. I will never pick them to win ever.
And do they?
They could be playing the
have.
Nazi vampires, and I would pick Kansas.
That's.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's panned out for you a couple years.
It has.
Yes, you've made some good picks there.
Yeah.
A
Of
couple.
So
course,
I
I can't
know-
say anything because my team's.
I know a lot of this conversation is going to be March Madness because obviously we got the Tyler Tomlinson, the Bob Goff. But I do want to talk about a few other things. Obviously, Tyler, we were talking outside to someone who knows you. I think, and I don't want this to sound like grandiose or weird, but I think everybody in Quincy probably knows Tyler Tomlinson.
Isn't there
Do
a
you
sixth
agree?
degree of Tyler Tomlinson? 7 degrees of
7
Tyler
degrees
Tomlinson.
of Tyler Tomlinson.
Contest.
I could probably be mayor if I wasn't, so moderate and trying to please everyone all the time.
I feel like people might like that in a mayor, right?
They might.
Yes.
They might.
Because I feel like the mayor has to depend on people, the aldermen, the people.
Well, it
that
helps
kinda
if they
make those-
like you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Likability's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Last mayor didn't sort of had an issue with that. So yeah.
Well, maybe likability was one thing, communication. Anyway, we won't go off on a rant on that. But I met you through your sister, Tiffany, and all the connections just seem to kind of continue through the years between your wife. Obviously, your daughter and my daughter go to the same school, so there's always been I don't think I'm ever going to get rid of you, Tyler. What do you think?
Well, that's okay.
She can't quit you.
Yeah, I'm
I can't
okay.
quit, yeah.
I'm okay with it. You
Yeah.
not quitting me.
Yes.
I felt like I skipped out on a little bit because I left town to work.
You did.
So now I'm not here every day. I feel like more people are probably going to know my sister than they know me, and then my brother's the computer nerd, so he's hermited out somewhere.
Yeah.
So he's doing his
But
thing.
you're pretty prominent in not just your likability, obviously, but you do some things for the range. Obviously, you're a great coach, and you were talking about teaching news. What is this? Is this
Yeah.
new, or
He's
am
an
I
assistant
I've been under
professor
the
of communication
That
at
is
Culver
right.
Stockton
Okay,
College.
how long has this been going on?
Forever.
Really?
Yeah.
So I've just been under a rock.
Since Bob hired me.
Okay.
in my first job out of college, basically.
Can we start there?
What does
then?
everybody in this room have in common right now? I hired you.
You did. What a good guy. What a smart guy, huh?
Yeah, so
I recognize talent.
immediately after I got my master's degree, like Culver Stockton, either I reached out to them or they reached out to me just to start, can you teach one class for us? And I was at WGEM when I started teaching there as an adjunct in, like 06, probably, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not too long ago.
Yeah.
Ah,
06.
wink, wink.
And
No,
so, yeah,
kidding.
and then, I actually was teaching full-time first before I was coaching.
But
I made the switch over to full-time coaching after 1 year of
I
teaching.
probably would have known that if I would have been a little more in tune with things, but I live under
But
that.
as a benevolent employer, when he came to ask me for permission to go teach, I said, of course, I think that'd be a wonderful thing for you to do.
Did you really do that?
It was my day off.
Yeah. You're like, you know what?
Okay, what you doing your day off?
Yeah.
Just don't kill anybody, you're fine.
Okay.
my day off.
So WGEM, sports, were you okay. Now, did you ever do like regular journalism?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that's a normal thing to
so
say.
my
I didn't want that to be like a cut down.
Regular
I'll be sure to
journalism.
tell Shuck and Dewar that sports isn't regular
No,
journalism.
but regular, you know what I'm saying, like overall news, like an umbrella.
You had to
Yeah.
do some news reporting, sure.
Yeah.
And I started in radio news actually in Sedalia, Missouri. So that was my first out of the gate gig was
Cool.
in radio news. I hosted like the drive home, 5 to 6 p.m. on the news station, News 105 in Sedalia.
KIIS?
Yep. KSIS.
KSIS, yes.
KSIS Sedalia.
Did
And
you
so-
ever have to cover the governor's ham breakfast at the state fair?
No, they never really sent me to anything state fair.
You didn't go state
I was
fair?
always in the studio. I didn't know anything
Wow.
about ag or politics really, so I
Yeah.
just read the news.
And you enjoyed it?
Radio was fine.
Yeah.
I had no problem with that. And then I got hired by Carol Sowers
Okay.
at KHQA out of the gate, and my assignment was the Southeast Iowa bureau reporter. And so we had a bureau in Keokuk where I would
Both
do my
stations
news, and I would feed it back to Quincy so I could work all the way up until 5 o'clock in Keokuk, not have to worry about coming back. That I did not like.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't even know what that is, but
yeah.
it just kind of sounds.
When I first was hired by KHQA, this was my first job out of college, I was a Hannibal Bureau reporter.
There you go.
And I would send my story, Hannibal, at the time they had a Hannibal studio on Palmyra Road, which
Okay.
is now the fire department office, and I would, via microwave, send my stories back.
Without being boring, what does that entail? Bureau and
You just covered all the news
They're
in Hannibal.
not sending other Quincy people.
Yeah, it's like,
that
hey,
have
you go
been there
cover all
longer
this
than
Hannibal
you.
stuff. Or
Gotcha.
if you're because at one time the stations have had bureaus in Macomb, Keokuk, and Hannibal. So yeah, those reporters would just work in those towns, and then pre-internet, when you could just send stuff regularly,
Sure.
you would use a microwave feed that would send the stories back.
Okay.
So
Cool.
that's what we did, and then on Friday nights I would cover Hannibal football, and usually Monroe, Palmyra, Mark Twain, whoever was playing at the time, and then I'd send that video back too.
Okay, so that's how you kind of got, like you tiptoed into it, right? How did
Yeah.
you know that this was like, yeah, I'm good at this?
Oh, I knew that in like 8th grade.
Really?
Yeah, maybe
Really?
seventh grade.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
they were like, "Do you want to do like the Channel 1 news at the junior
Yes,
high?"
yes.
And I was like, I guess so. And then I was just like, "This is real easy for me."
Yeah.
And it never changed.
Cool.
So that's kind of when I knew. And then the switch to news to sports. Here was my biggest difference. Right, when I would show up at someone's house in Keokuk from the street, which was legal, and I would film their house that just got busted for meth.
Yeah.
They would be like, "Get the hell out of here! You suck! I hate your guts! You can't put this on TV!" And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is so awful!"
Yeah.
And that was like, that was everywhere you went.
Yeah.
Your
basically,
pepper
right?
spray with you?
And then, I switched to sports. Bob hires me. I get into sports broadcasting. I walk into a gym in like Brown County, and they're like, "Yeah, he's here. We love him. It's so great." And I was like, "This is so different.
Way cooler.
Like, whoa!
And
Like,
don't
I
hate me.
like this feeling."
It fits with your likability
It does.
rater,
You
right?
see a trend
Yes.
with me. Like, I
Yes.
think I'm going to do this instead of the news.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crime coverage is hard.
It
It's
is.
tough.
It really is
God bless
because
our
you sit in
Michelle.
especially when you sit in a courtroom Like I was in the courtroom when we had one of the last murders or whatever, and Michelle has to do a lot of that, but one time she was busy and I went in there, and then the family's in there and they're all just screaming and they're like, "Why are you here? Don't sit here." And the judge has to like admonish them because they're like yelling at me or yelling at Michelle, and it's
just
like
negative.
just people. I'm sorry
Good.
I'm sorry your person got in trouble, but that's life.
Yeah. So as far as sports coverage, and now you're a coach, and like I mean, I know that you're all things sports, but you're also you're just a family guy, right? You're a dad, you're a husband, you like to travel, you go to concerts, I mean, your life is so jam-packed full of cool and interesting things. I find myself living vicariously through you and Jess. I know that it sounds like, but from the outside looking in, and that's kind of what I want to talk about, your life, did you ever kind of expect this trajectory coming from, Quincy, but staying local, but kind of branching out a little bit?
I mean, I would have preferred to have been on Sports Center, and doing those things, and that, that wasn't in the stars for me, which was okay. I feel like you always got to have something else that you're interested in and love and do and want to do.
You had the potential to do that, but you made other choices. I mean, there's a lot of guys who could have done Sports Center around. I mean, obviously Chris was a guy who could have gone anywhere he wanted, but they opted to stay here and do other stuff and have a real life as opposed to just being consumed by that.
And it also takes time. Like, it doesn't happen. Everyone thinks that we've known some people it happens quickly for. But
usually if you're was a Noah Eagle and your dad's Ian Eagle or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, the nepotism path, great.
You were when we had Cassidy Hubbarth at WGEM as she was my intern at WGEM, and she was on ESPN like 3 years later.
Oh.
Very good, very gorgeous.
Sure.
Boof,
it helps.
Ken Rosenthal's daughter worked at KHQA for a while.
And just sometimes they just go through and it happens quickly, and
right place, right time, plus a couple other factors.
There's a guy who was Quincy people, they probably won't remember because there's so many. His name was Brett Bagansky. Right? And
good name.
but he's like my age, and he just now, which has been his dream, got to the Chicago market.
Okay.
Right? I've been in my job now for 15 years, and he's just been grinding to try to get to that market, and and he's very good.
Oh, he's excellent.
He's an excellent broadcaster, but it just I don't think I would have done that. There's no way I would have.
So that's why I was talking about
you
have the balance of what you love with what you love. So your family stuff, obviously, I feel like you could have gone big time, but you have gone big time in the sense that you get to do what you love and be a great family man and kind of balance it all. So I want to say kudos to you for doing all of that and still staying true to your
Aren't you
dream.
also the king of youth soccer in Quincy?
Well, some people would say no, but I think that I look at there is some value in being local celebrity, you guys, Doer and Shuck. Everyone knows them. They're well respected. They're very good at their jobs, and they're in a market that values them and appreciates them. And so I do see that appeal to the life decisions that I made. I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your wife and daughter, sometimes when you're out in public and you get accosted and talk and all that stuff, do they kind of roll their eyes and come on, Dad, geez?
Well,
Come
it's
on,
not,
Tyler, geez.
you kind of know this too. When you're on television, people think they know you. Mm-hmm. It's not that they recognize you from TV.
Right.
They're like, oh, I think he might work with my sister.
Yeah.
And
Looks
so
very
we'll be
familiar.
eating at Kelly's or something, and someone will just come up to our table and how have you been? How are things going?
Yeah.
And I have a 5-minute conversation, and they'll leave.
Sure.
And my wife's like, who was that? And I'm like, wow,
No clue.
I've
So many
never
times,
seen that
yep.
person in my life.
Don't know.
I don't know.
Don't know.
But you also have that approachability, which is nice.
I don't think that's
you
it.
do. You have this approachability because you're always just so friendly, and people probably do think they know you because your personality shines through.
Here's the biggest thing, and I don't know. Maybe I felt like when I grew up, my mom was on the phone all the time. That's different now. All the guys I talk to, they are on their phone talking, not texting. Talking all the time.
Guys
I don't
like to
know
talk.
when that changed or shifted gender role wise.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we should explore.
You know what's funny?
That is
I
weird.
never
Gender
thought about that.
communication-wise.
My husband does that, and he paces Do you pace when you're on the phone?
I never sit still.
Okay.
I walk the whole house every conversation.
So here's something funny that Luke will say, and it ties into what you just said, which I never thought of before. He'll go to a job, right? Whether he's like just a consultation or he's quoting or whatever. Boy, they sure like to talk. I'm like, I think you say that every time. I feel like
Or
there's
is
a
it
common
you,
denominator. Yeah, there's a common
perhaps?
denominator. And I see you pacing our kitchen in the same path that's been now worn. So I think that there's a common denominator. But you're right. It used to be the ladies were, it was like the hen house. We were chattering. Now we're like,
like,
just
why are
text
you
me.
on the phone so much?
Yeah.
I get that question all the time. All you do is talk. But then you have guys like Frankie who will berate you and like, you're a wuss if you text someone.
Oh, okay.
Like
depends on the context, I think.
Yeah,
but
don't just, sure, just like pass a quick information, but if you need to have a conversation,
Right.
he's like,
I agree.
that is not the way to handle it. You're a man when you call someone.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot of guys our age like, yeah, he's right. I'm not texting about this. I'm going to pick up the phone. And then we talk about
Your Frankie impression's good.
20 other things.
You know what also I feel like maybe is a contributor there? Because guys don't like to leave things to chance. And texting kind of has that ambiguity that's like, we don't want to bring any kind of unnecessary emotion into something. We just want to get to the brass tacks of it.
Are you saying the girls can get mad about things easier because there's ambiguity and openness in the text?
They're just going to get mad about it.
I mean, we tend to read into things, and I don't think it's a female-male thing. I think it's a texting thing. If it's being texted, you always have that opportunity for unintended emotion or snarkiness,
Read
right?
into, overreact. Yeah, that's the same thing.
Well, everyone has the text voice that they read for someone else that's aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, look what Ashley just sent me. Could you believe that Brittany did that last night?
Hey, here's the thing.
Yes.
And it's right?
Yes,
That's
so
I
like,
don't
good.
think you can ever read my text like that because they're so bubbled out, because I text in the way that I think, which is complete fragments of bubbles.
do you talk or do you text? Do you
I
talk?
text.
My wife is talk.
Luke talks, and then he goes back and he's like, oh, shoot, because I'm always talking over
Ellen
it.
talks, and it's always
talks too?
garbled, and it's like, what? I'm going to Banana Patch? What's this mean?
Yeah.
You can't read it.
And then, like this morning, Scott had to come home for something from ISU, and he said, "Hey, I need money for da da da," and I typed, and it was stuck in all caps, and went, "Sure," and he's like, "What? What's wrong?"
Well, you gotta be angry
I'm like,
about it.
No,
Yelling.
I said it was all caps by accident. I'm sorry. Yes,
yeah.
I'll move.
Sure.
I'll move the money so you can go get Chick-fil-A. Great.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, so yeah, Brittany and a couple
Duke's
of my
winning, by
other
the way.
friends are what?
Duke's
They
winning,
are
by the
winning.
way.
Okay.
Yes.
So Brittany and maybe like one or two other people in my life aside from my mom or my sister are the only people that I will have a phone conversation with.
Man,
Because I just can't, like, I don't have enough important stuff to say.
I didn't want
feel.
to admit it, but like now I admit it. Like, yeah, I talk.
You're
Well,
a
first
chatter.
of all, I have to talk on my phone probably, I don't know how many times a day, just for like recruiting purposes.
Sure.
You have to communicate with these
Because
kids.
he's also the women's soccer coach at Culver Stockton,
Yeah.
along
Yep.
with being assistant communication
Coach
professor.
extraordinaire.
Yeah. So like that's so, and what bothers the household is that these kids could be from anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I had a call at 9:30 last night. Well, 9:30. Like, well, in Fresno,
Yeah.
hun, it's 7:30.
Sure.
So that's a normal time when this kid's getting done from practice. So I have to accommodate my schedule to talk to them.
But
you know?
also, I do want to shout this out because I was just living vicariously through Jess, your wife. You guys just went to Vegas for something, and she accommodates your schedule very well too. I'm not saying that she didn't get some perks from going on this trip, right?
Vegas, baby.
But
yeah.
she was like doing this like solo Vegas thing, and I was like, oh, I'm so jealous. How cool! Like
She
this
did.
is so neat.
Yeah, I was a little worried about
I knew you would
her
be.
being solo Vegas all
She
day,
did it
like
well.
2 days. Because I worked, like I went there for
Yeah.
work, and so I was working all day, and she was just, you know,
Footloose and fancy
poolside
free,
in
man.
Paris, and she was doing spa
She was
days. and-
total tourist, hitting all the
She
spots.
says that people talk to you more in that situation.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So
I
she
get
every
that.
time she would go to a place
that.
and get a drink or something, and people come up and talk to her.
Yeah.
And girls too, not just like
Sure,
guys
sure,
hitting
not
on her, which
creepies.
happened,
Yeah.
sure. But like, you know, guys, and then, you know, she had guys' cards like, hey, if you ever come out to Napa, you know, check out my winery. Like people were like talking to her, and
See?
she's like, she feels like that would never happen if she was with me.
Well, I don't
Probably
know that
not.
it would never happen because, again, back to the approachable, I think you guys are both very personable. People really enjoy speaking to you, so I'm sure
She
that
talks for a living as well as, you know, she has her
Yeah.
hands to do her work, but then
You need to mention the Neighbor Salon since you
Yes.
pimped
Yeah.
your
Crush
brother-in-law's
Salon,
place. There you
crushing
go.
it.
Yeah.
crushing it. I feel like Crush Salon is, it's here to stay forever. They're amazing. It's a
You
great
know,
place.
you calling Fresno, you mean the Culver Stockton recruiting budget? Pat Atwell does not allow you to fly to Fresno to personally recruit these kids?
If I told you my recruiting budget on camera, you guys,
Would
the
laugh.
laugh would be double to what you
Is it
have
four
right
figures?
now. No.
Oh, jeez.
Hey,
Come on, Pat.
but look what you do.
We got to compete.
Look what you do with, limited resources that speaks volumes, and I think it's pretty incredible. I mean, your coaching abilities, it's obvious that your team, and I don't just want to say your team, your teams through the years absolutely respect and love you. And that's not just like fluffing your ass, but I think it's just it speaks volumes about,
Well, I think that for me, it's always just meant a little more. I went there, and so I do want to be successful. But also, I think the other part is like I had a good experience,
Yeah.
and like I want my kids to have a good experience there. I think that's important,
Sure.
right? And
Well,
so there's a few games I remember as a player, but I remember a lot more.
You also have
As a person.
you also have the Tomlinson family legacy at Culver Stockton as well.
Fountain is flowing.
The fountain,
Yes,
the
is
fountain.
flowing.
So yes.
So yeah, it means a little more, I think, for me. But I'm doing something I feel like I'm good at. Like I can communicate with other humans
Sure.
and understand what they're trying to go through and try to help them,
Yeah.
achieve whatever they want to achieve. I feel like that's
non-judgmental.
that's
What if
something
Desi
easy.
says, "Hey, I
Pretty
want to
cool.
go to Truman State"?
Oh, did you see that stutter?
If she gets a full Scully,
Her thing now where she wants to go.
QU?
Duke. Oh, Duke. I'm not pointing down the road.
Not pointing to 18th Street. He's pointing at the TV.
Well, he is, but
Well,
okay. Of course, she's going to get the family legacy scholarship at Culver, so that's not going to be an issue.
Hey,
but
we
it's going
have
to be.
what's called tuition exchange. Okay, so there's a list of colleges that
Wait,
she
are
can
you an
also,
employee? Does she get a little something break?
So
She can
yeah,
go for free.
She can go for free at other schools too.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's what you're talking about, the exchange.
Exchange is like they send you a list.
Is Duke
and
part of that?
Duke is not on the exchange. No.
Dang it.
I have never looked at the list. I probably should, right?
Yeah, maybe give it a glance.
I probably should look at it because
Yeah,
I don't
maybe
know.
give it a
But
glance,
ultimately, like if an employee of that school then wants to reciprocate and send a kid to Culver, then they're free. And so
Cool.
it's just
That's neat.
I knew
Tuition
a QU
exchange.
employee that did that. A QU employee and their kid went. I don't remember which Chicago school, so I don't want to say if it was.
But there is one, is what you're saying.
There is one. I don't think it's Loyola, because if it's Loyola, that's a hell of a deal. But it's with one of the schools up there. Yeah.
So I mean, that's what we've told her. Like, you don't have to go to Culver. Like, there are plenty of options where you still don't pay anything.
What if she says, you know what? I don't think I'm going to go to school. I think I'm going to be a musician.
A musician, art.
Hey, because you guys take her to all these concerts. I'm like, can
Yeah,
I
but
be your kid?
that
Follow
doesn't-
your bliss.
Yeah, I think by now we might, not necessarily, but she doesn't have like that inherent like
She
pick up
doesn't?
an instrument, be good at it thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever get in the recorder? Three blind
Yeah,
mice.
I mean, for school.
Okay.
She's actually in the upcoming, I don't know what it is.
Oh,
Choir
gosh.
or, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's playing the ukulele.
Cool. That's a really cool instrument.
I respect the uke.
ever watch
I
it?
respect the uke.
I
You
really
have
respect
her
the uke.
watching Tiny Tim videos?
No. Wait,
Oh,
what's Tiny Tim?
Tiny Tim.
My
played the
daughter
ukulele,
just
right?
told me
Oh,
about Tiny
Tiny-
Tim.
okay.
Tiny
He
Tim.
died
Randy,
on the
Tiny Tim played the ukulele, right?
He died on the stage of a heart attack. He did. My daughter did. How weird that we're talking about this. Nora June, my 11-year-old,
Nora
just
June.
came out to the living room and she goes, "Do you guys know Tiny Tim?" And I said, I remember that song, but I think it was on Weeds or something, the show.
The show, yeah.
And she goes, "Well, did you know that he died of a heart attack on stage while he was performing?" And I said, "Oh, what?
What a way to go.
I know." I said,
Tim
well,
would have it no other way. The
Okay,
tiny
so
way.
number one, the ukulele, Tiny Tim. What a weird coincidence of conversation. Only you would bring this to the table, man. Yeah.
What
7 degrees,
if,
man. Very cool.
What if she said, "I want to be a Tar Heel"?
She would never.
She would never.
She would never.
No, I
would
think
never,
she's a
okay.
little. She's. She's.
Mike Jayhawk here.
No,
right?
she's
Never,
disciplined.
never.
She's disciplined
She's
in those.
baked
I will
into-
pay. I will pay for you to go. Help you pay to go anywhere on the planet except there.
She's baked into the Tomlinson.
Yeah, I don't
the
think,
DNA.
I don't think I have to worry about that.
Okay.
She's really loyal. Like, she loves Duke. She knows all the players. She loves the Vikings.
Yeah.
Like, she knows the players. Like,
And she's 11, guys.
Kyler, you
Very
okay
cool.
with Kyler?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Are you really?
I'm very excited because
Kyler Murray was the quarterback just signed
The
by
Vikings,
as a free
the
agent.
Vikings
I was going to say Vikings,
are
yes.
set up to win right now. Flores is back at least one more year.
Carson Wentz back?
Sure.
He is.
And they had a winning record without a quarterback, basically. Like, I could have gone out there and played for them, and they could have been 9-8.
Are you saying that the J.J. McCarthy experience will not work?
No, not necessarily.
You think he might someday be able to function?
I don't think in Minnesota. Okay. I think it'll be a Sam Darnold thing where
Okay.
it's not going to work here. The toxicity is there. It's the pool is tainted. He's got to go somewhere else, and he can still do it. Sam Darnold just proved that to everybody.
He did.
Just because I don't succeed here, keep giving me chances and I'll win a Super Bowl. Like, I know
Yeah.
it's not the normal story,
That's
but like,
cool.
Baker Mayfield
but it now
too.
opens it up for everyone to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have all these quarterbacks that we're giving up on.
And we're not going to talk about the Cardinals.
Well, but no, I do want to talk about this though a little bit more because I want to get your take on this. So, what do you think about the relationship between coach or team and player? Because I think it is really important. You know, you do go places. Maybe you just don't mesh. Like any weird relationship in Quincy. Sometimes there are
I
some,
do.
right?
I do. And there have been plenty of kids that probably don't mesh with me in the past. And I've dealt with parents. I've dealt with parents that don't like me or blame me for
Losses
or that.
or not enough play
Not
time.
enough playing time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been, you guys, like, I've been blamed for some weird things, okay?
Give it to me.
You're
I
like
am
her
okay.
daughter could be in the women's Premier League. If
Well,
not for
I
you.
had a kid that, yes, was going to probably set our record for career games played, I think, and the family thought I didn't play her enough
Oh.
because I'd take her out of games. And
You ever
sub
like
her.
sit them down and be like, "Do you guys see this? Do you guys see this?"
I had a player whose dad blamed me for their weight gain emotionally.
Oh.
So like the things that college coaches deal with sometimes those aren't publicized things.
Right.
Right. And so, it is what it is, and that's part of the job. And
Yeah.
the older I've gotten, the more it's okay. And I'm, as we started the whole
Easy
thing
to-
with, like, I'm like, I have to please everybody, but like, there's a part of me that's like, you can't.
No.
You-
Well, that comes with age, though, when you start to
Yeah.
realize that, hey, I'm
I'm
not
okay. Like
responsible
I'm
for the
okay.
weight gain.
I'm okay. Like calling up people now. Let me give you a couple stories, right? I've had
Okay.
some parents complain. I won't even tell you what level of soccer it is.
Yeah.
Right? But they'll complain. They'll send an email or a text and all this. And I'm like, hey, would love to talk to you about this. And they don't answer.
the phone
They
call
don't
comes
talk
in.
to you. Like, so you're willing to like text me or email me your displeasure. But when I call you, you don't even answer or return my
Sure.
call or
They're the
anything.
same people who comment on our Facebook page.
I mean,
And so
yeah.
they're either going to my college or they're paying for a service through my soccer club, and like I want to help everybody and give a good experience on both those things. But
Sure.
if I don't know what's wrong and you just want to bitch, then I can't help you.
Right,
And so
right.
I've been more apt to like, let's hear it. And sometimes I know my experience and what I know is more than what you know.
Sure.
Especially about my sport and growing up and experience and everything that they need. So whatever you think you are going to tell me, I'm going to know more
probably
about
already
it
know.
at this
Yeah.
point. I'm not young anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, confidence of just knowing your field and how to respond to people, and that you're probably smarter than them in your field.
Right.
And I'm in a really weird field. Okay?
Yeah, I
because
would agree.
so many youth soccer coaches or club soccer coaches or high school soccer coaches that think that they're good at the job, and they all are good in their level, but they all have jobs.
Yeah.
My only job pretty much is, and I have like 3 of them, are with soccer. I'm surrounded by it. I'm consumed by it. I
Immersed,
study
yeah.
it. I read it. When I go to bed, I'm watching film. My wife falls asleep. I have film when
Yeah.
I'm watching film. Like, this is all I do. And so it's a weird profession because people are like, oh, well, so-and-so's a pretty good coach. I know Tyler, he's a soccer coach too, just like them. I'm like, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, this is my job. And it's such a weird profession. I get like defensive about
Sure.
it, because I'm like, everyone thinks that, oh, I can go coach baseball too. But there's people that like, that's their job to coach baseball. Like, just because you played it in high school.
I think there's a difference
doesn't mean-
between.
Oh, no
I
question
think there's
about
a
it.
difference between facilitating and coaching. Anybody can facilitate. Coaching to improve, coaching to increase engagement and excitement, and that's a totally different ballgame, right?
You can give. I think everybody can give good experiences and develop kids.
Yeah.
Right. But it's just, I don't know. I think sometimes people forget like what I do for a living.
Yeah, you know your stuff. Yeah.
Sports Center update: Duke wins by 6.
Hey, hey, hey!
I had Siena by 7.5.
Oh, that one in there.
So yeah, do you have? I mean, again, I know you are a Wildcat through and through, and I understand that. And you're, of course, you're coaching with your youth program. Do you have any desire to coach at either a higher level of college or perhaps coach at the high school level?
So you'd be surprised how many times people are like, are you ever going to coach high school? And I'm like, what would I do?
Exactly. Yeah.
What job would I have to coach high school? Because I'm not quite sure. Like, don't I have to have another job, like within the district?
Do you have to?
Yeah,
be a teacher?
you'd have to probably.
See, I don't
I know
even
they make exceptions. Like, I could sell insurance, I guess, and coach high school. But
Really?
like, why would I do that? Like,
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
So that one's weird. Maybe.
Well,
if
does Greg Almich still coach? Does he still teach at Quincy High and then coach at Notre Dame, or did he move over to Notre Dame?
I have no idea. I
'Cause
know
for
he's
years,
a great coach.
for years he was a high school English teacher. Then because he taught my son Alex, and he coached or taught my son English in high school because we had the greatest parent teacher conference ever, because he said, you know what Alex's problem is? I said he's a lazy little shit, and Greg said absolutely. He said
There
okay,
you go.
don't be a lazy little
We're on
shit.
the same page.
Yeah, he's
So-
figured it out. And he's got a pretty good job now.
Okay, so if you're not going to do that, because I understand that they're,
But that's one direction.
But I said, or move up. That's why
What
I
are,
gave you
what
the
are
options.
kind of the next? What are the
Yeah,
next
so-
steps, or are there?
Yeah, no, there are definitely next steps. One of the problems is,
Not problems.
and it's probably for a lot of coaches in my conference. You stay at schools long enough, and they give raises and do all this, and then if you take another job, and it's like,
Square one.
we're a good high level, I don't know, Division II or a mid-major Division I, like, I'm like, what are you paying me? And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So, like, for me, that's been a deterrent, is the money. But for me, I also work for Rush Soccer Club on
Yeah.
the national level, and that's a big job. Like, it's a full-time job. And so, like, that's why I was in Vegas. Like, we had our Rush National Select teams.
Cool.
They're playing in that showcase. And those are kids from all over the country that come together and they play, and I was in charge of that.
Yeah, that's neat.
And so I also get to double dip while I'm there and recruit, which is great. We don't have to spend as much money on the recruiting budget.
Yeah.
So there's
your boss
there's
appreciates.
benefits. Yeah, there's benefits to
so
that.
many benefits that, I mean,
But if also
obviously-
NCAA rules are different, right? So a lot of schools, if I go work for them, they'd be like, well, you can't, by these rules, you can't work
Yeah,
for a
you
Rush.
can't.
because
NAIA
talking to high-
is the wild, wild
Yeah, you're
west.
talking to high
like
school kids
JUCO.
every day. You
Yeah.
could be recruiting them to your schools for all
Yeah.
I
Sure.
know. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I'm not.
NCAA coaching
But
is
it's
a
like a
different
conflict of
animal
interest.
than NAIA
Yeah,
or
so
JUCO
I get
level.
to do both of my jobs. I'm not breaking any rules.
Cool.
And I joked about your paltry recruiting budget, but you do have a pretty good boss. Pat Atwell's a good AD. And
Pat's one of the most analytical humans I've ever met. And so anytime I need analytical advice, I'll call him up and just say, break this down for me. His brain works he's a baseball coach.
Yeah.
It's all analytics,
Stats.
right? So he can break things down for
polite
me.
way to say geek.
That way. And so but we don't even, I don't know, our text messages are weird. If you check Pat and I's text, like I was in Vegas and I just got a text from him in the middle of the day, it just said, good luck. And it wasn't about recruiting.
No exclamation point?
No, just good luck.
He knew you were going to play blackjack.
And I was like, what is this in reference to?
Thanks.
And then
You
it hit
just say
me
thanks.
like that morning, Kyler Murray had signed with the Vikings.
Ah.
And so I wrote back, Kyler, question mark, yes.
Yes, duh.
Like just good luck.
So that tells me you guys are a good balance. then?
Nothing to do with like my job or
Analytics.
soccer or recruitment. He wasn't saying like, go get some recruits. He was like,
Yeah.
I hope Kyler does well for your Vikings. Like that's a lot of our text message.
But do you find
conversations.
like obviously, I don't want to say you're not analytical, but I see your personality in a whole like different light, maybe just because I've known you for so long, that you're very interpersonal.
Interpersonal is a great description, because if I have a problem, I will call you.
You'll solve it.
And I need you.
You're like a Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
Who we gonna call?
I need you to say like
Or
what you
ice,
think.
vanilla ice.
Okay. And
Yeah.
if you say like this is what I would do, and then I agree with it, and then I called Bob, and he says this is what I would do, and I agree with it, then I wouldn't go still. I would like call Britt and I would say, what do you think? Because
That's
I
good.
know she disagrees. And I'm like, ooh, why do you disagree
gotta get
with
all
that?
the
Why do you
facets.
disagree with that? And then I'll be like, oh, okay. So like that's how I handle almost all my conflicts. And so I have my circle of people that any problem I can call and they'll give me what they think I should do. That's how I manage like everything.
I'll get like these random texts from him. I'll go,
him too.
Yeah, okay.
But
And
I think that it's analytical in your own way. Like you are analyzing everybody's you're intaking everybody's perspective, which I think is super cool. But interpersonal versus actual analytics probably makes you guys very well balanced.
I would say, I'm less analytical, more interpersonal.
Yeah.
I want to know how it's going to affect my life, other people around me,
Sure.
what other people think about it, and then what I value as
gauging it all.
how to go forward.
I think that's very, very cool. Obviously, like I said before, you're very well respected. Even if people don't know what you do on a day-to-day basis, you are very, you're very well respected, very well liked. You're very, you're a good guy. When everybody hears Tyler Tomlinson, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, "Oh, Tyler." You know, some people may say, "Oh, Ashley," or I know some people say,
That was an easy one,
Bob.
Bob. Yeah, Bob. Yeah, that's an easy one.
But I don't think I've ever met
I had
anybody
this
who does that.
conversation.
I wear that jacket.
I
Yeah,
had this conversation with a couple of people like the last couple of days where I was like, how do you just put yourself out there? Like I have like a boss, one of my bosses, that he just doesn't care. Like this is how it's going to be. I'm going to say it, and then the people are going to like me or they're not going to like me.
I think built your listener with that.
Yeah, and I'm like, how do you live like that? And like that's just how I am. And you're kind of like that. You've always been that way. You're like, I have to make decisions.
Genuine.
The decisions aren't going to make people happy, and I don't care if they like me or not. It's what I need to do. And like I can't. It's really hard for me to live life that way.
I don't do it either.
Easy for my team. I feel like and this is probably more you, and that's the people that I'm in charge of. It's easier, But when the group gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm making these decisions, then I get
the scotch helps
worried.
drown it out.
Scotch will help all problems.
Well, being flustered with like trying to make sure you're pleasing people can be a very it's a burden.
It's my
to
greatest
bear.
flaw. It's my greatest flaw.
But it's a good thing, and I think it's probably why everybody likes you because you do it very well
I freaking work at it.
You try.
Yeah,
You bust your
it's
ass
hard
to do it.
work.
Yeah.
It's hard work.
It is.
Yeah. So kudos to you for doing all the good things. Obviously.
By the way, sorry that we're just skipping over you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I have
Okay.
really liked you in your new this
Really?
like turn you've made in life, and you're like getting into
Because
the media
I'm
side
a people
of things.
pleaser too. So
Yeah.
this is
It's
not
been-
easy for
It's
me.
been so good for you, and like because you're always an entertaining human,
Yeah, thanks.
right? In general, entertaining
try.
human, and then now like people get to enjoy your entertainment aspect, which I think is really good for you, and I
Yeah.
hope it makes you happy because I think you do a good job at
Thanks.
it.
I was gonna say, do you feel
can
like
also
I'm-
thank Brittany for that. Because
Yeah, Brittany's the-
She's the one that introduced us.
She is.
Okay.
Do you think that so you've known me for years. Do you think that I've wavered at all with who I am or what I
No,
think?
God, no.
Okay, because I want to make sure that
Neither of you.
Okay.
Woo!
Okay,
You're
because
very consistent humans.
I'm a people pleaser as well, but I think there's a responsibility in everyone's positions to kind of stick to your guns when you know something as a coach or you know something as an educator. You may find a different way to say it, a little more tactfully, but you're still going to say it. You do that really well. I think you can use some work. No, I'm kidding.
You can use some more tact. Oh, I know.
He's fantastic. But
No, it's
You cut through with the
just
razor.
say, hey, this is.
he's great
Yeah,
at
you
it though.
So-
And he's great at not
Sorry.
But some people appreciate that. They don't
Yes.
want you and me to fluff it up.
Yeah.
And so he comes in and cuts through it.
through the
It's a different
bullshit.
approach
Yes.
that's a lot of people respect.
Yes. I feel like I could sit here all night and chat. I just want to say congratulations on
You gotta
everything you're
celebrate
doing.
this
I know.
huge Duke win now.
Also,
More like a loss.
yeah.
Almost losing to the 16th.
Also, one more quick shout out to your wife, Jess. I know that she puts up with a lot of crap, right? And you might too with her.
No,
business. I
she's
mean,
an angel.
She is an angel.
There's no
Yeah.
crap.
Couldn't do it without her.
That's right, no crap. in
Desi's
that
an
household.
amazing
The wind
kid.
beneath your wings.
That's
Yes.
right.
Hey, I'm just trying to help you, brother.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You guys have done amazing things in Quincy, as well as beyond. Your goodness far outreaches our community. So very good stuff. Keep it up.
I was scared. I didn't know what you guys were going to ask me.
Oh, really?
And I was like, Britt's asking about Gus Macker pictures, and I was worried.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, God, do we have to talk about Gus Macker?
Well,
I'm
now
not
that you
beating
bring
a
it
dead
up,
horse.
no, I'm
Do we
kidding.
have
I
it?
just
Do we
want
not
pictures
have
of
it?
you with the frosted tips. That's all I want.
never had frosted tips in my
Oh,
life.
come on.
Never, I would never do it.
I think I saw you with some
I think I saw
frosted
you
tips
with
at one
maybe
time.
a deeper tan at one point.
Yeah, I was a
Maybe
I was a
not frosted
towhead
tips.
growing up.
Yeah, he was.
I didn't get darker hair till like 11th grade.
Yeah.
So like I was blonde. Everyone wanted to be me.
So that was real.
Yeah,
the hair was real.
I never had frosted tips.
And before we round this out, I do want to give a quick shout out, Lance. Of course, your dad, what an amazing individual. We lost him recently. I'm sure that his love and light, lives in you, and you're making him proud every day. Really, really fantastic family. And Nana, I just want to, you just have such a great family, and I think we would be remiss if we didn't mention them.
Yeah, I mean, I think I know I'm lucky to be raised by great parents, and I see it every day when they're like, oh, what's wrong with this kid? I'm like, oh, probably the parents. You know? And like, I know that I was in a situation that a lot of people don't get, where there was love and no separation, and so, and they raised me the right way, and I'm very grateful for that, and I don't ever take that for granted.
Yeah, I know you don't. It's very cool. I know Lanny is looking down very proudly, and I know Nana continues to be proud of you, your sister. You guys had really cool nicknames. We won't bust those out, but lots of cool stuff. Great family, great guy, and you're bringing that to the future. So good luck in everything that you do, and thank you so much for joining us at the table.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Love you, brother.
Thanks.
Love you.
Okay. I had to mention it. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.